child's pose. And you're going to come back onto the hands and knees. You can curl the toes under again, finding that nice neutral tabletop position. And then you're going to walk the hands forward a bit so the hips are forward of the knees. You're going to bend the elbows and gently lower down to the mat. You're going to place your elbows on the mat, forearms on the mat, feet together, toes are no longer curled under, and you're just gently going to press up into a Sphinx pose. And you might find that you want to bring the elbows in just a little bit. You really want to be able to open through the front of the chest for this one. If you're feeling any pain at all in the low spine, use the abs. So pull the navel away from the mat towards your spine and feel that that really protects the low spine here. It's more important that you get length through the spine like this rather than that you're arching back and kind of bending into that low spine like that. So I'm engaging my abs while I'm doing this pose. If you want a little extra stretch here, you can really anchor the elbows and kind of pull yourself forward, your upper body forward, by digging the elbows into the mat. And also remembering in this pose to have length through the back of the neck so you're not tilting the chin up this way, right? It's just along the natural length of the spine. Good. And then this is just a nice little resting pose. You can lower yourself down, bring your arms down to your side, and turn your head, gently resting your cheek to one side. Just relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck. And then place the forearms and elbows down again. Come back up into Sphinx. Continue to breathe as you're in the Sphinx posture. And then lower down and turn the head to the other position, the other side. One more time. Turn your head back to neutral and pressing up into Sphinx. And this time, if you'd like to really press the weight into the hands a little bit more now, gently lift the elbows, but keep the shoulders down. You can come up just a little bit higher. And lower down. Good. And again, we're going to press back into child's pose, using the hands. Press back onto the heels. Coming back up into that tabletop position, rotating the toes under again. We're going to thread the needle, so you're in that nice neutral spine. You're going to lift up one arm. So let's just say we're going to lift up the left arm, and we're going to thread the needle underneath that right arm, lowering that left shoulder to the mat, and our ear is to the floor. You can leave the hand right here, or you could stretch it above the top of the head. You could even straighten it above the top of the head, if that's comfortable. Take a few more breaths here. And then walk that hand back in if you've had it outstretched so that you can lift yourself back up, coming to tabletop before we go to the other side. Lift up your right arm, thread the needle under the left arm, right shoulder on the mat, right ear on the mat, and again you can stretch that arm out. Bring that arm back down so your palm is on the mat to help lift you back up to that tabletop position. We're going to take a bit of a modified downward dog here. So I'm going to show you full down dog 2, and then I'm going to show you some options because I really want you to make sure that you're not bringing a bunch of tension up into the neck area. You want to be able to leave that part nice and relaxed while you do this. So the full down dog, I would lift my hips up into the air, drop my heels back towards the mat, and extend. You can also do down dog with the knees bent like this. And another modification would just be gently, barely lifting the knees off and then lowering back down. So whichever feels good to you, feels best for you right now, we can either do just to here for down dog and lower back down. You can come up, but keep those knees nice and bent, or you can straighten the knees a little bit. Good. And so we're just going to take it together 2 times. Ready, and lifting the hips, feeling the weight in the shoulders, but not in the neck, right? Good. And come down. One more time, finding the comfortable place for you. And lower down. Good. And then I'm going to have you take a seat, again, in that nice Indian style or whatever version you'd like to do. And any tension that might have gathered in the neck right now, we're going to go ahead and just take some gentle stretching for that. First, I just want you to rotate the head gently to the left. Just gently. And back to center. And then to the right. And back to center. And then I want you to lift the shoulders up towards the ears. And then just let them go. Release. One more time, lift. And then let go. Good. And this next one is the one I told you before. You could actually be seated in a chair, and I'll show you that version in just a moment. But if you're doing it seated on the floor, you're going to take your hand. So in this case, I'm taking my left hand, putting it under my left sit bone. And then I'm going to tilt my head to the right, so ear toward the shoulder, away from the hand that I'm sitting on. And you can apply a little gentle pressure, just barely any, but a little bit, by placing your fingertips on the side of your head and giving a gentle little pull. And then a slightly different angle of stretching. You're going to look to that right corner, look down towards your knee, and again, you can gently apply just a little pressure, this time to the back of the head. And taking it to the other side, sitting on the right hand at this time, tilting the head toward the left, ear toward the shoulder, and gentle for this lateral stretch. Feel how it's releasing through the side of the arm you're sitting on, right? Your head's tilting away from that arm. Good, release that, and then looking to the left corner, down to the left knee, placing the hand gently on the back of the head. Little stretch. I'm going to go get a chair and show you how to do it in a chair. So I'll show you from the side and the front. So I'm seated, I've got the soles of my feet on the ground beneath me. I'm sitting on the edge of the chair just so I can sit up nice and straight and I'm not tempted to curve back that way. You can actually reach under the chair with this hand, and then tilting away from that shoulder, the ear goes to the opposite shoulder. So I'll turn around so you can see it from the front too. So hands reaching under, actually I'll do the other side. Hands reaching under, and I'm tilting my head away from the hand that I'm reaching under the chair with, ear to shoulder. And if I was using the hand for a little extra pressure, it would look like this. And this one's a great one to do anytime you start to feel tension in the neck. That, along with the raising up the shoulders towards the ears, and then just drop. Chair away. Coming back to your gentle tabletop position, I want you to reach your left foot between your arms. And you want to have your knee directly lined up over your ankle. You don't want your knee going forward of the toes in particular. You want to keep them right lined up like this. And for right now, we're just going to keep our hands on the ground. You're making sure the hips are facing straight forward. And this right here is great If you want to take a gentle little balance, just slowly coming up. Start by raising up on the fingertips. See how that feels. Make sure you're engaging the muscles of this leg to stabilize, and you can place one hand on your knee, and if it feels stable, you can place the other hand on your knee and come up nice and tall. And then lowering down again, one hand at a time. And if you're feeling really confident with that and you'd like to lift that back knee a little, you can. You could bring it all the way straight, just making sure that you're not turning the hips out this way. They're facing straight forward. And if your knee is up, lower it back down. Bring the knee back down onto the mat, back into that nice tabletop position, and all the way back to child's pose. Switching sides, you'll come up into the tabletop. This time bring the right foot forward between the hands. Again, lining up the knee over the ankle, not out over the toes, right? Just right in alignment. Good. Squaring up the hips so your hip bones are both facing straight forward. And if we want to test our balance, we can first try coming up on the fingertips. If this bothers your knee, you can actually put a folded up towel underneath the knee on the mat. That can help provide more comfort. And if you want to try a little more balance, you can start with one hand and then the other. Come right up. And lower back down. And bring that knee back. Again, taking child's pose. Rising back up into that nice tabletop position. Now there's two options here for how to get up. Option number one is actually sitting back towards your heels, walking your hands back, lifting your knees off of the mat, keep the hands walking back, and then you're going to be lifting the hips until the heels drop, not putting a lot of pressure in your hands here. Keep your knees bent and just hanging here. The second option, if you're feeling totally comfortable in down dog and there's no pain in your neck, you can lift your hips all the way up into down dog, and then you can walk your feet up towards your hands, and the knees can be bent, they don't have to be straight when you're walking the feet up. And again, we're just going to come to this nice relaxed position. Really feel the weight of the head right here, stretching the spine nice and long. Your abs are engaged, maintaining the integrity of your low back. I'm feeling the weight on all four corners of my feet. And then go ahead, extend just a little bit if it's comfortable. If not, you can remain in this position and then bend. And then gently nodding the head yes. Just feeling the weight. You can shake a little no if that feels good too. And then you're going to bring the hands up to the back of the hips. Keep the elbows open and extending through the spine, nice straight spine as you come all the way up. Bring your arms up overhead and then down into palms together in front of the chest, Anjali Mudra. Next, we're going to inhale, opening the arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, press the air beside you down as you really flatten the back, bend the knees. Feet are hip distance apart here, at least sit bones distance apart. Good, taking it nice and slow. You can straighten the knees just a little bit here if that's comfortable. And again, bending. This time on the inhale, we're going to take a nice little halfway up extension of the spine. So you can keep your fingertips on the mat. You can even bring them to the front of the shin, front of the ankle. And then lowering down. Release. And then coming all the way up. Again, reaching your hands up towards your hips, opening the elbows, and extend through the spine as you come up. Circle those arms all the way around, up to the top, palms together if comfortable. And bring them down into the front of the chest. Anjali Mudra. And we'll take this again. Inhale. Exhale, press the air beside you, hinge at the hips. Flat back forward, lower all the way down if you can. If you can't get all the way down, that's okay. You could be hanging from here and that would be all right. Another modification, you could actually cross your forearms, rest on your knees, and hang the head from here to relax. Good. You can also hang here. Or again, palms all the way down. We're going to inhale, do that halfway up, flat back. Exhale, lower all the way down. And reach the hands up to the hips, straighten the spine, leading up with the head, come up all the way, arms circle up and into Anjali Mudra. I'm going to turn to face you for the next exercise we're going to do, which is a balance pose, but you can continue to face this way on your mat. So anytime that we're doing this in this gentle restorative yoga, we want to make sure that our legs are a little wider. If our feet are together, this is harder on the hips, can also be harder on the spine. So give yourself a little bit of distance there. Ideally, lined up right with the sit bones, or even a little wider to the hips, whatever feels best for you and your body. This is what feels the most stable for me. Yeah, good. So we're going to take a balance pose next. So you're going to have your hands on your hips for this. You're going to gently shift your weight toward the left foot just a little bit. So I don't have very much weight at all on my right foot. I'm going to turn that foot out and bring that heel close to the ankle bone. This might be your balance pose right here. Another option is actually to lift that ball of the foot off the floor and keep the ball of the foot close to the ankle bone. Good. And to find that balance point, engage your core. If you're finding that you're wobbly, think navel to spine, engage the core. The other key thing to a balanced posture is your drishti, so that's your gaze. So find something to look at. Rest your gaze gently but clearly and in a focused way on that spot. And anytime you start to lose your balance, bring the drishti back, engage the abs. You can lower that foot down to the mat and turn it back to parallel. And then just shaking out everything after that nice balance pose. We're going to take the other side. Hands are on the hips. You're going to shift the weight to the right foot, turning out gently the left leg. Heel is resting on the ankle bone to start. And then if you want to test your balance a little bit more, you can bring the ball of the foot up towards the ankle bone. Try and evenly distribute the weight between your hips, even though you've got one foot lifted, rather than doing this, right? You can line up that hip. Also, you want to feel yourself lengthening out of the pelvis here. Good. Again, finding the drishti, finding that focused gaze on something in front of you. Navel to spine, engage the core, just breathing. If you want to test a little bit more, you could shift the hands to Anjali Mudra. Or you could even shift them up in a nice V. Or palms together over the top of the head. This is victory pose. Good. And then lowering that foot back down, lowering the arms. Bring the arms back up on an inhale. And exhale. Anjali Mudra. And then you're just going to bring the arms down to the side. We're taking mountain pose, Tadasana. So feel the weight evenly distributed, all four corners of your feet. Make sure you're not locking the knees back, right? But giving just a little, possibly gentle bend, or at least just a little release so that you're not hyperextending the knee joint. Feeling everything stacking straight up over the feet, right? Knees over ankles, hips over knees, slightly engaged core, lengthening the spine, feeling that string in the top of the head. You're gently dangling. Chin's not lifted, also not tucked, just resting gently as if you have a little ledge here. And just find your drishti, find your gaze. It's focused but gentle. Feeling your core slightly engaged, nice tall mountain Tadasana. Open through the front of the shoulders. Great. So now we're going to take some of our restorative postures. So the first one that we're going to do is legs up the wall. So you're going to find a spot where you can have a little space up against the wall. I'm going to ask you to take a pillow because that will be helpful for this one. I'm going to just come over this way. You can move your mat over to the wall for this too. Of course, I'm actually up against our bookcase cabinet here. So you're going to sit down on the mat. You're going to place that pillow up against the wall, and you're going to have a seat on that pillow. You're going to get your hips as close to the wall as you possibly can. So you've got one hip flush with the wall. And then you're going to lean yourself back on your elbows. Kind of turn yourself around, gently and slowly, bringing the backs of your hip, or the sit bones themselves, right up against the wall. You'll get a little extra stretch here. If you flex the feet, you'll feel it in your hamstrings and your calves. But you can also release. Bring your arms either out into a T with the palms facing up, or bending the elbows in a goalpost if you can keep the forearms and the hands resting on the mat in this goalpost place. And you're just going to relax everything here. Breathing naturally, but nice full breath. You can also place a pillow under the head, which you might need to do, because you don't want the head to be tilted this way. You want it to be nice and in alignment with your chest. So that's a possibility. Remembering always to have just a little bit of length here, right? So you're not tilted this way. Call that length through the back of the neck. Nice, gentle, restorative pose. So we're on our feet or upright anyway. A lot of our life during the day, sitting at a desk or walking, standing on our feet. So this is a really nice way to counteract gravity. You'll feel the blood coming more up into the chest, the neck, and especially the head even. So this is just like a gentle inversion because our hips are just a little bit higher than our heart because of the pillow. So you're bringing more blood flow, oxygen to the thyroid area, to your throat, bringing it up to your head, oxygenating the brain. Just like a nice, gentle feeding of the brain with a little extra blood flow, nutrients, and oxygen. Flowing into the pituitary gland, nourishing the pineal gland. Just relaxing. You could take this pose for 5 minutes, even 10 minutes if it's comfortable and you're not losing the sensation in the toes or having that pins and needles feeling. And again, if you want a little stretch of the hamstrings, you can go ahead and flex the feet. You do want to try and keep the legs parallel as opposed to rolling outwards if you can. Just finding it's comfortable. So we're going to stay here for about another minute. If you want to stay longer, again, this is a good place to just stay here. Don't pay any attention to the video moving forward, or go ahead and pause the video if you want to take a little longer. It's very important that you come out of this posture correctly. So you're going to go ahead and gently bend the knees toward the chest. And then you're going to gently roll to the side, bringing the knees down to the mat, folding the body in half. You're in a nice fetal position. Find a nice restful position here. And then to come to a seated position, you want to use your hand. You're going to use this hand to press you up. You can use this other hand as well, right? And then you're going to move your knees and feet as you need to come to a nice seated position. So we're going to move the mat back for the next two resting restorative postures. So the first one we're going to do, you're going to be laying on your back and you're just going to take a gentle side twist. This is another place where a pillow could be useful as a prop. So first, laying on the back, and I just demonstrated incorrectly. Anytime you're laying down or coming up, you really ought to do it from the side, like I just showed, right? So if you're facing forward, you turn to the side, gently lower it down, and then roll onto the back. That's just the safest for your spine and your neck. Good. Resting here. And if you're finding that in this position your chin is lifted, that's a good time to put a pillow under your head so you keep a little more length through the back of the neck. If you don't need that, I'm just going to show you the side twist and then you can do it with me the second time. You're going to start by bringing one knee toward the chest. And you'll just release it there for just a moment. And then you're going to gently roll. If it's the left knee, it's going to roll towards the right. You can use this elbow to help you twist a little bit. And if you can roll all the way over, do. If you need a little extra support here, the pillow can go under the knee here as you rotate. And ideally, the arms are going to be out to the side, palms up. And then if this position is super comfortable for you and you want a little extra stretch in the neck, you can look back away from your knee and get a little extra spine twist. Right? Good. And so I'll demonstrate again. This time we'll go to the other side, and you can go ahead and do this with me if you'd like, remembering to switch the pillow if you need to. So you start by bringing the knee to the chest, and then gently rolling. In this case, my right knee is to my chest, so I'm going to roll towards the left hip, bringing that knee across to the pillow, or if it's comfortable, all the way to the mat. And just keeping the palms open to the sky. You can bend the arm here. You might find that that relieves a little bit of the stretch if you're feeling too much here. And again, you can increase the spine twist by looking gently towards the hand away from the bent knee. Good. Return the head to the neutral first. Then you can roll back to the center and lower the knee. Good. And then taking it to the other side, since you just did that with me that time, you're going to go ahead and take it to your next side. So bringing the knee in and rolling gently to the side, opening the arms if you need to move that pillow. Remember, move that pillow, placing it under the knee. Head's the last thing to twist, and just resting there. Bringing the head back first, and taking that arm, using your hand to help you bring the knee back to center and lowering the leg down. So the next pose we're taking is the final pose of the class today, and this is Shavasana. It's also called corpse pose, but we're going to just call it resting pose. I like that better. Sleeping pose, fully relaxed posture. And this is just regular Shavasana, so you could just have the arms outstretched, palms up, or palms down. So palms up is more of a receiving, and palms down is more of grounding into the earth. So you can try both, see how it feels different in your body, because I definitely feel a big difference. For me right now, palms down feels best. So this is one way to do Shavasana. And the biggest point to Shavasana is to really relax every part of your body. I'm going to teach you a slight modification also for Shavasana. So a bolster would be ideal in this position. since it's living room yoga today and we don't have a bolster, we're going to use a vertical pillow. I'm going to go get it. So a pillow that's a little bit longer, right, but narrower. And you're going to place that pillow right up against your sit bones, and you can walk yourself back gently, making sure that it's not any lower than the shoulders, so however long your pillow is. And you just want to feel that this helps those shoulders to open. And again, you don't want the chin lifted, so you might need a pillow under the back of the head. So feeling the openness here. Good. And again, palms can be up towards the ceiling, or palms can be down towards the floor. Really feeling everything completely relaxed. The top of the head's relaxed. Release behind the eyes. Release the tongue and the jaw. Release the ears, the throat and the neck. Release the shoulders, the elbows, the palms of the hands, the fingertips. Release the chest. Release the upper back. Release the abs, the stomach, pelvis, the thighs, the knees, the shins and calves, the heels. Release the ankles, melt into the mat underneath you. Feel the earth supporting you. Release the tops of the feet and the toes. Everything's relaxed. Nice inward gaze. You can even place something over the eyes to cover the eyes. A little towel, a little washcloth. If you have an eye pillow is nice. This is the time to let the day go and just release. Gently bring your awareness back to the body. Back to the breath. Wiggle the toes a little and the fingertips a little. When you're ready, gently roll to your side. Eyes can still be closed. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a seated position. Eyes still closed, or at least just gently gazing, barely open, down towards the floor in front of you. Place your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your heart. Thank this beautiful body for all the amazing things it does for you when you're not even thinking about it. Breathing, heart beating. Such gratitude for these amazing bodies that we have. How they carry us through our days, walking, standing, sitting. Precious, precious, precious bodies. Feeling into our hearts, into our heart center, the seat of consciousness, the seat of healing, and remembering the incredible power of healing that our consciousness brings, our awareness brings, when it connects with our body, with our heart, with our mind, bringing it all together. Together toward self-love, together toward healing, together toward joy and gratitude. May you bring this connectedness, this healing place, this heart place, this joyful place into all your actions throughout the day, throughout the week to come. Remembering this quiet place that lives inside each of us. We can return to it at any time by placing the hands on the heart, by closing the eyes, just being there with the breath. Place the palms of the hands together in front of the chest in Anjali Mudra. I bow to you in gratitude. As you bow to yourself in gratitude, namaste. Bowing to the teacher within, the guru within. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.